Hello, welcome back there, treasure seekers. Today we're going to dive right into another pocket change market report. This is for the week of May 30, 2020. So I had done one of these on Monday, so it's been a few short days ago. Generally, I like to put these up either on a Friday night or Saturday morning to kind of help people out when they're out searching around through their coins. And identifying some really cool errors and varieties that you could sell on the secondary market, like eBay or Facebook, or a few other various different types of marketplace outlets. They're plentiful out there today. All right, so it's been about 4 or 5 days since I did the last one, relatively recent. I figure, we're going to go ahead and jump in and do another one to kick off this weekend. We are effectively at the very end of May. We are jumping into the summer months. Going to be very, very important to look through those coins as more brand new coins continue to come out. There's going to be more material to look for, and the reason why I brought up the brand new 2020s is that we have seen an influx of all different varieties and craziness revolving around the error sector of coin collecting. A very, very notable discovery will be talked about in this video. Okay, you can probably make out a little bit of the thumbnail of this first page here, but it affects the brand new 2020 quarters that you do need to know about. You absolutely need to be made aware of these new errors that have been hitting the secondary market by storm. It's aside from finding the West points that we know are out there. There are also a couple errors that are going to be paramount that you have to look for and be just wary about, because these things are selling for sometimes upwards of a few $100s a piece, depending on how many you find. Pretty neat opportunity here. So we have kind of an abbreviated market report today. We're only going to highlight 20 coins since I did that last one a few days ago. But it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and search out some pretty neat finds this weekend. Again, every coin in this list, all raw images directly from the seller's listings. There were a few that I had to change the white balance of, only because they were just like in your face, bright and white, and I didn't want you guys to get a little bit of a retina shock as you take a look at those coins. Plus, it's just a lot better to kind of like take a look at muted down images where it's not as bright. So that way you can see exactly what to look for. And again, if you're looking for varieties and errors, I always tell folks this: you need a good quality magnifier or jeweler's loupe. Great news, I have them for sale. They're in the description box below this video. Just go ahead and expand it out. There's a whole list of various Amazon links. I have a few in there for nice quality magnifiers on the cheap. All right, you got to have one. You can't really identify 95% of these varieties with just the naked eye. It's next to impossible. So yeah, go ahead and take advantage of that. There are some for sale. Again, raw images. Ideally, nothing graded. These are coins realistically that you could find, identify out of pocket change or coin roll hunting, or cherry picking through dealer's bin or eBay, turning around and selling it as is. Okay, there's no extra preferential treatment as far as grading goes. All right, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for instant notification. Again, I'm your boy Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Thank you for joining. Let's go ahead and dive right into the first one here. We're going to start off slow, baby. Kind of like a slow dance. That's right. So what we have here is a partially identifiable Lincoln wheat cent. Okay, as you guys can see on the obverse of the coin, it looks like a little thing that folded over right onto the date. I kind of think it's a 1958. Just based off of what I've seen and the actual die characteristics, I'm pretty confident that that's what this is. But we'll just call it as it is, a no-date Lincoln wheat cent that has a folded-over retained lamination. All right, so pretty cool. If you come across something like this, keep in mind, some folks would say, oh yeah, it's been damaged. No, it really hasn't. This is a byproduct of just a poorly mixed alloy coin. All right, so we have an improper alloy mix of this particular planchet right here, and that's what causes like the peeling of surfaces as you see on some of the other coins. But when it's folded over and retained, which means it hasn't fallen off, that's where you're going to see a lot more desirability for coins like this. So this one sold for $24.50, keeping in mind that all the listings in this video are from the last 24 hours. So these are all nice, fresh sales. So this is a really cool one, by the way. Mad props to the background. It looks like it was sitting on a doily or, you know, a light carpet of some sort. All right, so here's one of my favorites to keep an eye out for. These are very common, all right, but it's a 2000 Lincoln Memorial Cent that exhibits the well-known variety called the wide AM. So you have a much wider spacing between the A and M in America, and that's what you're going to look for, all right? So right here, you have more of a space, whereas on the regular coins, the A and the M will be touching at the base. All right, so this one right here sold for $13.86. As you can see, it's in pretty decent shape. Probably a lower mint state, 61, 62, with a little bit of red on there. But there you go. Yeah, it's still selling for a decent amount of money in spite of how common they are in the landscape of roll hunting. All right, so this one here, this is the best pictures that I can muster, only based off of this is exactly what the seller put up there. But it's fine, you know, that you could tell exactly what it is. But this one right here is a 1999D. Yeah, you can barely make out a little bit of the date and mint mark. Jefferson nickel. This one was struck through a later stage capped die. So there was actually a coin that was stuck to the hammer die, which strikes the obverse image onto every single coin it produces. So there's going to be the off chance that that one coin will just get stuck on that moving die, and it won't come loose. So it's going to strike every subsequent coin with that die on there. Okay, and this is what it looks like. It looks like it struck through grease, but you have full upset rims on the front of this coin. Keep in mind, there's a little bit of damage on the reverse. So if you're the type of person that likes to buy these out and kind of hunt for them on the cheap, this one is damaged. It sold for $18.05. Okay, I'd say without the damage, it'd probably sell for about double that. All right, so it's not every day that we come across off-center struck coins, but again, this is another really great example, a 1999 Philadelphia. A nice mint-state red condition. You know, and you can tell that it's a Zinken, which is a copper-coated or copper-plated zinc coin, because you can see the separation of all of the copper plating, which, you know, the copper plating on these are very thin. All right, so it doesn't take much. You know, an off-center strike or a broad strike will separate the copper plating at its most delicate areas, which are right up to the devices. So this one right here is 15% off center. It sold for $15.19. They're actually pretty common as far as buying them on the secondary market, but finding them in change or roll hunting can be a little bit difficult. All right, the pictures aren't fantastic, but sometimes just good enough pictures is going to be enough for some of the most distinguishing varieties. Now, you can tell it's a 1983 Lincoln Memorial. But look on the reverse. This is the one. This is the big variety for this date. It's the doubled die reverse Lincoln that is so well coveted and so valuable to a lot of these collectors that even in this condition, I mean, you can see it's got corrosion and, you know, all sorts of other ailments on there. That effectively makes this a details coin, okay, or a damaged coin. But you can see just the copious amounts of doubling. 1 cent is especially strong. And then you have it on US of A and E pluribus unum. So this is a very important variety here. And in this condition, as a raw coin, it sold for $84.20. So a coin might be ugly, but it's got a lot of beauty hidden behind it. Okay, the doubled die and the amount of money it sold for. Okay, just because it's in this condition doesn't mean it's worthless. It was actually worth $84 to someone out there. All right, so here's one of those double dies that we love looking for. It's a 1995 Philadelphia. This is the one that everybody has been looking for at the time of release. But this one right here, still very available because it is a common double die. All right, so you folks living there on the East Coast, you certainly will come across your fair share of these. But as you can see, very strong doubling in Liberty. It's got the strongest around out of all the devices. And then finally, the motto, "In God We Trust." All right, so keep an eye out for that as well. This example and all of its goodness sold for $39.19. Well done. So this looks like a garden variety 2019 Philadelphia Lowell National Park quarter. All right, it looks every bit the part of being a coin that has circulated over a year. But keep an eye out for certain things on these coins. Okay, everybody's all mad-capped about finding West Point quarters, but there's a few kind of neat minor varieties. And actually, I have the next like 4 coins reserved for coins that you should probably pull aside and just kind of supplement your eBay selling page with some of these coins. Because again, the money all adds up regardless of how much they sell for. But this one on the reverse has a pretty nice die chip right in that bell tower looking thing. So how much did the seller get for this coin? Well, $2.44, which is almost, let's see, what, 10 times face value? I mean, if you did sell this and then you sent it off in a number 10 envelope with a forever stamp, and then with fees and all that, you'll probably profit about $1. But if you added a few of these coins into your eBay store to help supplement all the other finds, it's incredible. It all adds up. And, you know, if you don't look for it and you don't pull them out, then you're never going to make an opportunity of that. I mean, you're not going to get rich just selling these coins, but again, every little bit helps. And it's a good supplemental type income deal when you're able to make $2, $3, $4 for these minor coins. Same can be said for this one. This 1957 Lincoln wheat cent, all right, doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot on face value. I mean, it's got a little bit of mint red in there. It's a pretty nice shape. But all in all, it's a 5-cent coin if you're going to go out and buy it. But if you looked at closer to Liberty, and it's got this BIE die chip in between the B and E in Liberty, all right, people collect these. So this one right here sold for $5.24. Making 100 times profit, not too bad. I would say that's pretty gosh darn good. Again, these always sell, you know, for that $5 to $10. Nicer condition coins sell for a little bit more than that. I would certainly keep these pulled aside. All right, here's another one. 2018 Philadelphia Cumberland Island. Again, another quarter that is out there in droves. Millions of these were produced. Again, to the astute collector with a good eye, all right, you'll see that this one has a little bit of a die chip here on the end of the wing of that bird. This one right here is sold for $4.96. Again, another nice rip for an otherwise minor variety that generally gets passed up. Again, the coin is not mint-state. You're probably looking at an AU 55, 58 type example because these have circulated quite well in the last few years. And again, another one right here. This is a 1989 Lincoln cent. My only reservation, guys, if you are going to be selling coins on eBay or any other place, make sure you have a full obverse and reverse image of the coin on every listing. You're not going to get charged extra for the second or third image that you apply onto these listings, but it is important. It is equally important for this listing. Unfortunately, the seller did not have a reverse image. So I'm kind of playing on a guess here. Now, this one right here, a 1989 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial cent, has a little bit thicker rim on one side. Okay, generally that's more indicative of a misaligned die. All right, so if we had a reverse image and it is completely centered, then we can attribute this particular error to that coin. Otherwise, it would just be a slightly off-center coin. So this one right here, misaligned dies again. Believe it or not, they sell pretty well. This coin right here, which is a nice shape, it's got a few spots and all, sold for $4.99. So at the end of the day, this person have profited about $3.50 off of this one coin after shipping. Now this is a really cool coin. Now this unique looking Lincoln Memorial exhibits an error called a counter blockage. Okay, so a blockage usually trips up a lot of folks, but a blockage in itself is tough to explain. But if you needed help in knowing what a blockage is, check out Error Reference online. It's actually error-ref.com. Okay, if you needed to know what a blockage is, that's the place to go. But a counter blockage, this was struck through a capped die that had a blockage on it. So that's why you have the much more swollen kind of like image of Lincoln and the date and all on the front of the coin. This is a very cool coin. Some people would say, oh yeah, it's struck through die cap, obviously. But not many people are privy to the terminology of blockage. Blockages, by nature, are rare and expensive. This coin right here is a 1993. I don't see exactly where you can pull away that particular date on the coin. But it sold for a best offer of $302.98. So a few $100s is a really nice deal for these coins. This one looks like it's circulated quite a bit because it's oxidized brown and probably not quite mid-state anymore. All right, for you cherry-picking gods out there, the 1882 O Morgan dollar is a coin that is not only common, but shows up quite frequently in like silver melt bins, like at coin shops and coin shows, and even online. Like if you bought some of these on like APMEX's website, or maybe on eBay, like you buy just like a junk lot of Morgans or various silver, this is a variety that comes up quite frequently. That's not particularly rare, but if you're able to find one, even in just like in the most awful condition, is worth quite a bit of money. All right, so what we're looking at here is going to be the O over S mint-mark variety of the 1882 Morgan dollar. A coin that, let's say if you bought as scrap, by the way, the coin looks like it's been cleaned. I'll just say that. But this is a coin that generally you can buy for between like $17 to $20, depending on your local dealer and how much they sell these scrappy coins for. This one right here is a Morgan VAM variety. All right, it's a top 100. Sold for $99.20, probably for a coin that was cherry picked for about 20 bucks. All right, so to make 5 times your money, that's not bad. And if you're able to identify one of these on an unattributed mint-state coin, oh my gosh, these things sell for many hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So keep that in mind if cherry picking some of these older coins is your thing. All right, so yeah, I tell you what, we're pretty much sick and tired of just combing through tons of common date Kennedy half dollars. Am I right there, roll hunters? But if you're able to find one that has something that looks like this, then you have done pretty well. So what we have here is a 1998 D Kennedy half dollar with an obvious strike through on the reverse. I mean, it's pretty sizable, and it's not something that generally would be overlooked. But this one, I would say, has been circulated quite a bit. So this one here sold for $6.94. Again, it's not world-breaking profit, but it all adds up. All right, this is a cool coin. It's the 1965 Lincoln Memorial that has an obvious Broadstrike. You can tell just how much larger the coin is. Plus, you can see all the extra space and material between US of A and the rim. These were struck without a collar, so the coin was kind of like squished out when it was minted and struck. And that's why you have a coin that's probably close to the size of a nickel. Now, this one right here is sold for $28.50. This one is circulated a little bit. I don't know if it came up in a Lincoln roll or perhaps got pushed into a cent roll. It's kind of hard to say, but this is a really cool looking error. All right, so this is probably one that you're not going to find in change on its own, especially after it's circulated. But what we have here is a relatively new 2009 $1 Federal Reserve note. that obviously is missing a whole bunch of the front design, which, by the way, is the entire second print. So that's George Washington, U.S. of A. You have all of the design features completely missing just about. So this is an insufficient inking second print error. All right, the note in itself is crisp gem. All right, so it's a brand new note. Some of you are probably going to ask me, well, where do you come across something like this? Well, if you guys have seen some of my other videos, I tell you, like, one of the biggest things people like to cherry pick off of these dollar bill straps are fancy serial numbers. All right, so people would actually go to the bank and they'll place an order for Federal Reserve bricks. Okay, these are full bricks of, I think there's about $1,000 in a brick that comes directly from the Federal Reserve Bank to your bank, and then you could go ahead and purchase it. Now, not every bank can order directly from the Federal Reserve, and generally when they get to that banking institution, they'll open up the brick anyways and do a preliminary count. Now, some of them will just keep them sealed and in their vault, and you can ask for those. All right, so more than likely this was in one of those BEP bricks, but this is a really cool error and particularly expensive. The back is perfect. It's perfectly, inked on the reverse. But this is a note right here that sold for $251.75. All in all, yes, that's why we go and order some of these BEP bricks from the Fed Reserve Bank, because you never know what you're going to find. This one just so happens to be in there. Pretty neat find. All right, so we got a 1957D Lincoln wheat cent that has some pretty nice obverse lamination. It's all flaky, but there's a lot of retained flakes on there. This one right here is sold for $8.49. Laminations aren't going to be a huge money maker for you, but if you could sell one for like 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, depending on the severity, that's where you're at there. All right, so I've always touted foreign coin bulk lots as being kind of like an untapped resource for all different types of errors and varieties. So this is a 2001 Brazil 25 centavos coin. For those of you that actually deal with foreign lots, especially from South America, wow. I mean, the overall quality assurance in those countries for these coins being made, it's just not there. Now, these are quite common, but if you're able to find one, I mean, they are worth a little bit of money, all dependent on grade, of course. But this one has obvious, just really wild doubling on the front of the coin where you have the date and the denomination. As you can see, it's really hard to miss. Everything is just so wrong with this coin, but to us as collectors, it's just so right. Now, the coin has seen quite a bit of circulation, and it did sell for 14 bucks. That's how common they are. These are out there quite a bit, and then when we're talking about foreign double dies or errors, they just don't command the amount of respect and attention that regular U.S. struck coins do. All right, but in any event, this is a really fun find if you have access to just ungodly amounts of foreign coins on the cheap, and I'm talking like $1 a pound cheap, then this might be an untapped resource for you. All right, another lamination, this time on a 1943 P. Jefferson war nickel. Now, you do have a few scratches on the front. Okay, it's a details type coin. But on the reverse, you have a big old piece of lamination that had fallen off after the strike. This one is visually stunning. Me personally, it's not for me because of the damage. I like coins to be problem-free. But if you want a really nice example, this one did sell. It sold for $23.25. Make sure you check your wartime silver nickels. There always seems to be planchet issues with this short little 5-year date span, but it's really cool. Make sure you check out for these. They are pretty valuable. A 1980p Washington quarter. This one here, I've gotten a lot of questions about what does a coin look like when it's missing the nickel plating off of one side of the coin. Well, this is what it looks like. As you guys know, these have a copper core to them. So when it's missing a completely, I guess, I can't even think all of a sudden, squirrel. So it's missing the plating, the nickel plating on the reverse, but you have all this beautiful mint red of the copper core. The coin is probably a little bit thinner than usual, but this is a really nice error. It's sold for $38.49. All right, so keep an eye out for something like this. If it's way too brown and you're able to see some of the nickel through that brownness, more than likely it's not a missing clad, and especially if it happens on both sides. Usually this is an occurrence that happens on just one side. And again, it's due to an improper alloy mix. All right, and this is what we all came to see. Yeah, these brand new quarters are out there. They've been out there for, I would say, about almost 2 months now. But it's a 2020 West Point Weir Farm. At first glance, actually the white balance issues aside, the coin doesn't look like too much. But again, these first two releases, the Weir Farm and the American Samoa Backquarters, have been plagued with some unusual U.S. mint errors. Okay, and this is all coming from a mint facility where they're not known for these issues. The West Point Mint usually has pretty high and tight quality controls, but because of this whole pandemic deal, it's really beginning to show some issues. Now, on this particular coin, on the obverse, we have struck through fibers or string, which is absolutely phenomenal on these particular coins. On the American Samoa Backquarters, on the reverse, you have some pretty ridiculous strike throughs. It's just, again, that U.S. Mint facility, based on deadlines and whatnot, just like any other place, if you have to rush through your work, then there's going to be obvious flaws in your work. So this is one of them. Again, as a coin collector, I love seeing stuff like this. Even on the newest quarters, you would think like, oh, technology just really rocks these things out, just better engraving and just more better quality. Not so. When the human element comes into play, things like this happen. But there you go. Pretty wild strike through and quite valuable. All right, so how much did this one sell for? $53.89. Pretty nice. And the pictures are great quality on this one. Again, the coloring is more yellow than I like it to be on a listing. So try and play around with it. Most devices nowadays, like if you take this picture with your iPhone or Android device, usually you're going to be able to rectify the yellowing or the white balance issues on these. So make sure you play around with your photography. That's going to be important to maximizing the amount of money that you get on your coins when you sell them online. So anyways, that's going to do it. That's all 20 coins, guys. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for instant notifications as always. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. I'm your host, Sean. Thank you for joining today. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And I will see you on the next coin video.